Family, I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of From Lockup to Legacy. Stay tuned.
You wanna move like bosses, move to work up for hustlers, never done. They gon' see you change when you level up. Sometimes when you on the grind, you gotta leave all things behind and do what bosses do. View what the bosses view. You gotta sacrifice. You wanna move like bosses move.
Welcome to another episode from Lockup to Legacy, where we focus on overcoming your past to embracing your God-given legacy, with host George Moore Jr.
Facts. We have a custom of celebrating those who are either no longer here or can't talk back. No matter how much we applaud Dr. King or his predecessors, they can no longer react. They cannot be impressed with their own stats. And even though we call this a tribute, we are celebrating what someone did as opposed to someone who is, as opposed to how someone currently gives. Stop. I want to talk about a legacy that currently lives, a living legacy. We honor the Birmingham jail composed sentences that challenged clergy to commit in 1963, while at the same time acknowledging people in 2021 that challenged the courts to let inmates go free without codependency. Is called From Lockup to Legacy. And though we appreciate our forefathers, they now exist heavenly, they will no longer appear. But I wrote this spoken word to address the living legacy that is currently here. You are a living legacy. Imagine that. Another year, but this year we celebrate more than just historic facts. You are the modern day MLK. The modern day social justice theme has become more than just what your profile pic displays. We are active, faith-based but not passive, grassroots but the influence is massive. You are the answer to what they refused to teach us in high school class. You are solid. Understand that slavery has truly never been abolished. It exists in our criminal justice system and embedded in our education before the institution of college. The 17th and 18th centuries before Dr. King had a dream that we could even acknowledge. Going back to the original Pharaoh that refused to let God's people go, first I thought he was slow, but it was probably less about the oppressor than the fact that the people had a hard time letting go. A slave's mentality. We can't just chew the fat and spit out the calories. We can't just celebrate one day or 1 month without considering continual casualties. That's why you are the answer. We can no longer treat the symptoms. You are the cure for this cancer, the modern day manifestation of the dream. So I refuse to focus on yesterday when I'm surrounded by so many young kings, a living legacy. And I refuse to wait until you die to speak about the work that I see presently. So this is what I call a eulogy for those who are currently living the dream. And let me first start off by acknowledging my own family, otherwise known as my team. You are the visionary, giving me Dr. Martin Luther King, Legacy Youth and Adult Prevention, not just Legacy Reentry Foundation, but you all deserve an honorable mention. LYAP is MLK. For the last 6 months, you have been on the scene every day. The numbers are in, proving that we can address street violence doing it God's way. So Oscar Parham, I want to thank you for mentoring the hardest by renewing the mind. Modena Stinnett, you make outreach look good while gauging how well we grind. And Vanessa Alexander, you keep us on time, the only reason why the whole team stays in line. Carrie Panos, you do so much, but we can't thank you enough for coming through in the clutch. And Tina Arnold, you keep the files in order. Thank you for keeping us in touch. David Hood, you know how to engage the hood and you do it so well. Stan Flores, you secretly hit the scene and report back with intel. And of course, we can't fail with Vastoria Park and her experience in the inner city. Thanking God for Rico Edwards going hard. And the class that Dre Worship taught was gritty. Carlos Smith, you got the youth on lock. Every event you do has been a success. Angelina Alfaro, you jumped in with both feet when today's youth needed to be addressed. Malena Burdine, you speak the language of today's youth and you feel the young people's stress. And I see you, Tasha Ward, the best accountant ever. You know exactly what each dime should be used for. And Regina Moore, you're the reason why this whole team was able to walk through the door. You made King's dream come true, and without you, nobody's feet will be able to hit the floor. And I can give you so many more, but I have to stop for time's sake. At the end of the day, Dr. King's dream is alive because God is great, and Isaiah 42:7-8 is our God-given mandate. No shame, only Jesus can change the landscape. And if you really want to be a living legacy, he's the only way to make chains break and change destiny. At the end of the day, we love Dr. King, but I just showed you a living legacy.
Thanks again for joining us for another episode from Lockup to Legacy. For further reentry and prevention resources, contact us at 1-800-573-8538.
The work of a hustler is never done. They gon' see you change when you level up. Sometimes when you on the grind, you gotta leave